Hi, good evening. My name is David, and I am running another session of Hearts of Wulin. Hearts of Wulin is a Powered by the Apocalypse game of wuxia melodrama by Lowell Francis. It had a successful Kickstarter last year and is currently, I believe, in the process of being sort of finalized for release. You can find more out about it. I've put a link just down below where you can find out more. Ultimately, this game, as I said, is about kind of set in a sort of fantastical China, looking at kind of the world of high-powered martial artists and the drama and complications they get themselves involved in particular, for this game, I'm running using a couple of the supplemental rule sets currently available in the playtest documentation. Those are namely the courtly and the supernatural play sets. The kind of my vision for this game is kind of for it to be based sort of on the Untamed or Dao Zu Shi, where you've kind of got these big powerful clans of martial artists and mystics clashing and cooperating with one another whilst dealing with weird mystical stuff around their world. This game is being run as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing club, which you can find more information out about at gauntlet-rpg.com. Again, there'll be a link to that down below. We're basically, we get together, we play games like this. We've got kind of a calendar we arrange our games through. As well as that, we also have a series of podcasts and a monthly gaming zine. You can find out more about all that stuff down the link below. That is kind of what we are here for and what we are doing. So the next thing I'd like to do is to ask my players to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about the character that they will be playing this evening. So as ever, I'm going to go through in character keeper order. So Puckett, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your character.
Good evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is where you are. I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight I am playing Zhang Long, a mysterious sorcerer who is occasionally called Blind Zhang or Young Zhang, because he and Golden Soul scholar Shang were once students of Master Li Fang, and, well, we studied the darker arts, and Golden Soul scholar Shang thought himself better and more talented and clever, and meddled with forces beyond his control, which killed our master and blinded me. Now I seek to end all demonic control over the kingdom and to get my revenge. Because what else is a sorcerer with control of spiders going to do with someone who killed his master and blinded him?
Brilliant, thank you very much. And next, Brian, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little about your character.
I'm Brian, he, him, and I'm playing Mirror of the Cloud, also he, him. Mirror of the Cloud is an outsider. He would rather be off, meditating on some mountain than spending his time in court, but has been drawn by his clan, the 11 Devil Perfection Society, to come and investigate what's going on in the court.
Awesome, thank you very much. And next, I think is Lara, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Yeah, greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm Lara. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Lei Ning, also she, her pronouns. Lei is a lower to mid-ranking member of the Shang clan. My only family member is my brother, Tian Ning. Our parents disappeared under mysterious circumstances right around the time the current ruler came into power. I have minimal prospects, but a pretty face and secrets for sale, so I get by just fine. I want to travel the world and experience life. Life is too short to live in regret. I have this unquenchable thirst for knowledge and for something and exploring the world that's bigger than me. And yeah.
Awesome, thank you very much. And last but not least, Chris, if you'd like to introduce yourself and again tell us about your character.
Hi, my name is Chris. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Min Yang, who also uses he, him pronouns. I'm a magistrate in Golden Soul Scholars Court. Our clan, the Wu clan, is out of favor, which means I have to find roundabout ways of getting done what I want to have done. I'm trying to understand the ways of the demons better, so that I can eventually act. And I'm disastrously in love with Zhang Long. I'm just causing problems.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And I can't remember if I introduced myself, but my name is David. I use he, him pronouns. I've run a few games of Hearts of Wulin before. This is the first time, though, that I am running it with some of these supplemental rules, and I've been having a lot of fun with it so far. So we'll just see how that continues. So yeah, before we get into things properly, I'll just quickly recap our safety tools. So we will be playing using the open door policy, which is to say, if at any point you need to, if at any point you need to leave, feel free to do so. Whether that be to just take a quick break, go and answer the door, something like that, or whether you just need to leave the game for the rest of the session, that is perfectly fine. If you can let me know if you're when you're likely to be back or if you're not going to be back, that will be cool. But don't feel that you have to. We will work around whatever happens. Like I said, if you need to leave, then you need to leave, and that's fair. We are also using the X card, which is a fairly common safety tool. I won't go into huge detail other than to say you can invoke the X card by doing the kind of X sign with your hands, by typing something in chat, or just by saying, I'd like to X card that. As I've said before, I find the one that's most likely to get my attention is if you say in chat, but do feel, as in if you say with your voice. But if you do use any of this, that's fine. It just may take me a second longer to notice. If something is X-carded, we'll just kind of work around it. We won't do on it. We'll just move past it. We will probably, we may add it to our lines and veils, depending. I may need to ask you to clarify what it is you've X-carded in the scene if it's not immediately obvious, but you will never be asked to justify why you are doing it. That you have X-carded is enough. We'll also be using the script change safety tool. Again, I won't go into full detail on this now. The PDF on this is available to my players, and we've discussed it before, but we will be, if the primary ones to think of are pause, if you want to stop everything for a moment, and then either just to take a quick break, or if you want to have an out-of-character conversation about what's happening in a scene, pause is a good one to use for that. Fast forward can be used for kind of skipping over stuff we don't want to dwell on. Rewind can be used for going back and changing something that's just happened if you want to do it a different way. And frame by frame can be used if you want to kind of take a scene a little bit more slowly. And with more frequent check-ins. So those are all available to you. So yeah, that is our safety chat. As I alluded to, obviously we have our lines and veils, which are in the Character Keeper. Do just have a quick check over those. Remind yourselves of what we've got lined, what we've got veiled. If during play you want to add something to our lines or veils, because we start getting into territory like, oh yeah, that actually, now thinking about it, I don't want us to have X come up, then feel free to do so. This is a living document. You can always write in things or change up what our kind of safety is on that item. The only thing, again, just to say, if you do make a change like that whilst we're in play, if you can just ping me a message just so that I know to check, and then I can relay that to everyone else, just so that we're, because otherwise I may miss that going in. But yeah.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that we had death of children on there, and I actually, especially considering we're in a battle, I just changed that from a veil to a line, if that's okay with everybody.
No, that's perfectly cool. Yeah, we don't need to focus in on that in any way. Or well, we don't need to feature that in any way. That's fine. It's no, that's perfectly fine. Thanks for letting us know. It's something that's probably unlikely to come up anyway, but yeah, we'll avoid that entirely. Thank you for that. So yeah, cool. So yeah, and with that said, I'll just have a quick recap of sort of where we got to last time. After some personal revelations and politicking and the like in court with the various characters, there was an interruption in the usual business of things. A rider from one of the outlying villages had come to the Temple of the Immortal Throne to raise the alarm that the dead had risen from the graves in Myland Village. A team from the temple, consisting of our heroes gathered here, was sent out to investigate this threat. Upon arrival, it was discovered that, yes, indeed, the dead did seem to have risen from the graves and were menacing the people of Myland Village. The people had primarily drawn back into the local noble families' compound, where they were sheltering behind the sturdier walls of that building. When everyone arrived on the scene, to give a kind of the quick précis of what happened, particularly because obviously we didn't have Chris for the end of our last session. What the sort of primary things that were discovered was that the living dead here seemed to be, rather than being like their own spirits returned to their body, causing them to rise from the graves, these bodies seem to be sort of puppeted by a more powerful force that was motivating them. Zhang Long and Lei Ning had found the source of these bodies, which was unsurprisingly the town graveyard just outside town, and Yaling Liu and Mirror of the Cloud encountered a force, a sort of spectral being of some variety, who was who encountered them on the roof of a building while they were out scouting. This creature seemed to be the motivating force behind what was going on, in at least some fashion, or was the focal point. I suppose is probably the fairest thing to say from what people had learned so far. Yaling Liu engaged this being in a duel, though was laid low by it. It seemed to, in some way, consume a part of her soul, and she has currently fallen into a death-like torpor on the roof of the building that she was on, where Mirror of the Cloud remains. So that is kind of the scene. That's kind of where we left things off. As I said, Yaling Yu and Mirror of the Cloud were on top of one of the buildings in the village itself, where they had fought with this spectre. Lei Ning and Zhang Long were just outside the village boundary, investigating the graveyard where the bodies had risen from. So I'm going to start off this evening by checking in with Min Yang. Oh, the other thing which I think you will have missed, obviously at the end of the last session, Min Yang, and you don't have to do this right now, but if you feel free to do so over the course of the session this evening. Oh, that is actually a point. We will do that before we leap back into things. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, the first thing we will do this evening, before we get back into the action, is at this point, if you wish to change one of your entanglements, if you don't feel that either one of the entanglements you have is either relevant anymore or you're just not interested in it, you can change it around to encompass new people or a new motivation, and you can also change around which of your entanglements you have highlighted. So yeah, I'm going to go back around in character keeper order again, and ask Zhang Long, are you still happy with both of your entanglements?
I think I'd like to mix the first one up somehow.
Yeah, sure thing.
I don't feel like Zhang Long is necessarily... I think he's more obsessed with getting Golden Soul Scholar Shang than actually being involved in any romance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is there a way that we could shift that first one to be a non-romantic entanglement, if you're okay with that?
Yeah, no,
Brian?
that's fine by me. Yeah, that's fine by me.
Brian, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Any ideas, David? I mean, maybe I'm still fond of Mirror of the Cloud, or I think that they are a decent person or something like that.
Yeah, it could be. I'm just thinking, also looking at Mirror of the Cloud's agenda, and also obviously Brian, feel free to chime in on this. But I was wondering if it could maybe be something like, I'm fond of or I admire Mirror of the Cloud, or words to that general effect. But I'm concerned that they are falling under the influence of Golden Soul Scholar.
Okay.
Or somehow needed to defeat Golden Skull.
Yep.
Like you're getting close to Golden Soul Scholar to strike?
Or just, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you came to this conclusion, but that somehow you'll need to recruit me to aid you.
And deposing him.
To succeed. I don't know why, but for some reason you think he can't succeed.
I mean, none of us are strong enough to defeat Golden Soul Scholar Shang on our own. Okay, I need to recruit Mirror of the Cloud to depose Golden Soul Scholar Shang. But my senior Min Yang and the rest of my clan believe they serve a dark force. Which, I mean, honestly, if I need to recruit you to defeat Golden Soul Scholar Shang, is probably true, but... Okay, got it.
Cool. That's awesome. And yeah, if you wish to switch around which of your entanglements you have highlighted, you can likewise do so. Next, Mirror of the Cloud. Are you happy with your entanglements as they stand currently?
I am for the most part, although the second one hasn't really come up at all.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we've not got a chance to look into that yet, and we probably because Lei Ning is not here this week, we're probably not likely to this session either. So if you want to put something else in there for the time being, that's cool.
Lei Ning's here.
Lei Ning is here.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm confusing names again. Yes, sorry. Yes, we do have Lei Ning. So no, I mean that's absolutely something we can work towards. If you want, if you're interested, I'm sure we can bring Tien into things. We've not really seen them yet, so. But yeah, yeah. No, as I said, feel free to switch around the your highlight for this week if you wish. And
Yeah, I had the other one highlighted. So
yeah, cool. And then yeah, Lei Ning. Again, are you happy with both of your entanglements as they currently stand?
I am. I'm just in the same boat as Mirror of the Cloud. My first one hasn't really come up yet, but like, I think that we'll be able to work towards it. So, but yeah, I'm happy with my second one, and that's the one I'm going to keep highlighted.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense because yes, the other one is more focused on a character who is not here this evening, so that's cool. Brilliant. And yeah, last but not least, Min Yang, are you happy with both of your entanglements currently?
I think so. I edited the first one just slightly to reflect Zhang Long's new entanglement with Mirror of the Cloud.
Yep, cool.
I think I'm still focusing on the second one.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I like Lei Ning's weird compromised status.
That's brilliant. Also, yeah, the other thing I was going to say to you specifically, because I we obviously did do this with everyone else at the end of last session. If you feel that you hit one or more of your entanglements last session, you can mark 1 XP if you hit the one that isn't highlighted, and 2 if you hit the one that was. I think, if memory serves, I think you did kind of.
Yeah,
I think the second one did come up. I don't know if the first one did. I don't remember specifically, but
no, the first one didn't come up, but I think the second one did briefly.
Yeah.
I was talking with Lei Ning.
Yeah, cool.
So
Awesome.
there we go.
But brilliant. Yeah. Now that we've got all of our entanglements set up for this this session, yeah. Now we will leap back into the action again. So yeah, as I was beginning to say before I interrupted myself, yeah, I'm going to check in with you, Min Yang, to find out what you have been up to. I think the last time we saw you, you'd been kind of leading the troops that you'd brought with you in sort of bolstering the defense of the manor house against the undead forces. But as we come back in on this session, what do we see you doing? I think, like I said, in terms of the other stuff that's been going on, you might be aware of the confrontation between Yaling Yu and Mirror of the Cloud against this strange spirit on top of one of the buildings, because, as I said, it is on top of a building. It's quite obvious. You won't necessarily be aware of where Lei Ning and Zhang Long have got to, but you can almost certainly track them down if you wish.
Well, I mean, I think I'm responsible for the soldiers that we brought with us.
Yeah.
Those poor red shirts that, you know, I think I'm just trying to set up a perimeter to try to guard the villagers from the dead. I mean, are there a lot of dead, or is it just the one so far?
Oh no, this is it's dozens of walking corpses. Okay. So yeah, that is cool. I think actually what I'm going to ask you to do, because I think this is we touched on this move last time, possibly just after you'd left. But yeah, when you face a new supernatural manifestation alongside the unready, you get to roll. On a 10+, you're calm and determination to hold them steady. On a 7 to 9, you choose one. You bear the brunt and mark an element. Someone panics and spreads chaos, or someone panics and causes injuries, or the manifestation claims a victim. Nice. If you roll a miss, then things go badly. As ever, you get to choose which element you roll for this, depending on how you think you're kind of rallying the troops to defend against these creatures.
Yeah, I'm I'm going to choose water to try to make sure that everybody is aware of each other and aware of where the dead are. And as is my nature, rather than making a solid front, I'm trying to get them to adapt to the situation, to go wherever the dead are.
Awesome, awesome.
So I'll roll with water.
That is correct. I'm just copying in the link to the dice roller if anyone needs it, if anyone doesn't have it already. But yeah.
Let's see. I thought I picked green. Which one is mine? I didn't see it come up. It's not these two, I don't think.
No, I can't see it on there.
Let me try that again.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's see. Oh, I didn't pick a. I'll do it. Didn't actually pick a die.
Ah, right. No worries.
There we go. All right, the green one. Wow. 11 plus 2, 13.
Nice. Perfect. So yeah, on a 10 plus, your calm and determination hold them steady. So yeah, how does this look as you sort of start to get the troops into position and defending against the ravening hordes of the undead?
I think I'm riding from group to group of the forces. I think I've got them in 3 or 4 small groups, and I'm riding from one to the other, trying to get them to stay calm. Just trying to encourage them to stay calm and be aware of their surroundings.
Awesome, yeah, and I think that you know they're readying bows and other weapons, and they're sort of starting to drive back these shambling corpses that are coming towards the compound. As I say, certainly so far as you've seen, these corpses are slow and clumsy. They're not. I mean, they're obviously they're terrifying. They're walking corpses, but they are in terms they don't seem to be moving with a particular with that much intent or that much for well, no, with ferocity, but not with any particular skill. And yeah, so far by maintaining their calm and fighting back against them, the troops that you've brought with you are able to maintain this perimeter and are driving back the creatures who are mostly seem sort of confused and lost. So yeah, I think with that we will go and see what Zhang Long and Lei Ning are up to. Last time I think we saw you had just reached the old graveyard outside of town, where it was obvious that this was the origin point for these creatures. There was lots of unearthed graves. But yeah, I think I'd like to see what your plan is next.
Are there any shambling dead here?
There are probably a few still kind of digging themselves out of their graves. The ones that are doing so seem a lot more skeletal. They're even slower and more fragile than the others you've seen. They're as I say, yeah, they're kind of more fragile, more precarious. They are still kind of just digging themselves out of this of the hard packed earth on top of them.
Is it possible to detect where the source, or which direction the sorcery is coming from?
So I think what you feel immediately is you can feel more like a pull on this place, drawing the dead out of it, which is sort of drawing them back towards the village. But I think I'm just going to have a quick check to see if one of these. Yeah, I think if you just like to make me a what do you call it? A study roll.
Okay.
As I think, yeah, you can kind of feel the flow of the magic around you.
Okay, and I think water makes sense because of awareness and wisdom. Does that sound good to you?
It certainly does, yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to re-roll those 2 red dice over at the side.
Cool.
That's an 11. It was going to be a 13, but the dice changed.
Cool. So yeah, on the 10 plus, you get 2 hold, which you can spend to ask a question or reveal a detail about the scene, your choice.
Well, you said we can feel a pull of sorcery, correct?
Yes, that is right. Yep.
The village is surrounded by woods, right?
Yeah. Sort of. It's mostly there's obviously there's fields and stuff, but yeah, then outside past the fields, yeah, there's sort of bamboo forest.
What do you think, Laura? What do you want to do here? What do you think would be interesting?
I mean, I feel like we kind of need to find what's causing this, because otherwise they're just going to be, they're going to keep on rising up from their graves.
Right.
I have a thought if you're interested, but I can keep it to myself.
What's the idea?
Maybe a subset of the graves were not exhumed, and maybe there was something about the burial practices that those particular graves took that might give us a hint on how to fight back against this. Just a thought.
I mean, I do have 2 hold. Both things can be true.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that idea, Laura? What do you think would have been the thing about how they were buried that prevented some bodies from being recalled to unlife?
Well, I'm wondering if maybe it's not about how they were buried, but who was buried. Maybe there's some kind of significance tracing them back to something else that we've brought up earlier on in the story. I don't know.
Like who? Or like what family or clan would these people have been a part of, or what would they have been involved with that caused them to be left alone?
I mean, I'm either thinking that the ones that are being left alone are either the ones that are kind of being used to channel this power. So they would be the ones that kind of that would be a clue as to who started all
this. Oh, like maybe they were sorcerers of some kind and the residual magic in their body is being used as...
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I like that. So let's go with that. And then, so they're like an amplifier for the sorcerer's power. And then I'd like to establish a detail that we can actually, since both of us are somewhat magically attuned, I'd like to say that we can both feel the direction that the sorcerer is casting from. Does that work?
Yeah.
And the sorcerer's in the woods. And now we get to do our tree running thing.
Cool. Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, regarding the regarding the undisturbed graves, I think what you will notice is that there are several graves in one area that are undisturbed, and they're like relatively recent as well. And all of these graves are, as I said, they're undisturbed, and they are all graves that share kind of are all in more or less the same place in the graveyard, and they are all bear signs on them that they are from members of a holy order, sort of a local temple, and as I say, all of the graves here in this section do seem undisturbed, except one that does seem to have been recently dug over. But this looks like it has been recently dug over. It does not look like it has been it's not like the ones that the rest of the ones that you've seen here, where they have clearly something has come out of them, like this evening or during the day today. This looks like in the last week, 2 weeks maybe, somebody has been in here with a shovel essentially and dug into this grave.
Okay. Lei Ning, we should investigate. And if you see any of these skeletal beings, please crush the skulls. It should stop them.
I think Lei Ning kind of cracks her neck with pleasure.
Do not take enjoyment from this, Lei Ning.
No.
This is a solemn, grisly business we are about.
Of course.
But it might also be fun.
Awesome. And I think with that,
do we need to roll for cracking the skulls or anything like that?
No, not
okay.
not right now. No.
Okay.
As I said, the remaining corpses in this graveyard are very much the kind of remnants that they pose little threat to you while you have time to sort of deal with them safely. But yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, though, I would like to go back to Mirror of the Cloud. Oops, sorry, just hit mute. So we'll go back to Mirror of the Cloud on top of the roof of one of the buildings in town. Yaling Liu has just been overcome by this. As I say, it's a sort of creature. It seems mostly comprised of shadow with glowing red eyes and long claws. As Yaling Liu drops to the tiles of the roof, it stares down at her form for a moment before turning its attention towards you. What are you going to do?
I want to back away slowly and see if it's going to follow me away from Liu.
Yeah, and I think it probably. I think as you, it isn't like charging towards you yet. It's more following your movements, like a sort of like a cat stalking a mouse. It's watching you and sort of tensing as much as it can tense without as far as you can tell, any muscles. But yeah, it's you get that feeling it's kind of waiting for the moment to strike at you.
If it's gonna follow me, I'm probably my thought is I want to run. I don't want to face this thing alone.
That
and
is very fair.
and I want to get to others so I can let them know where Leo fell.
Sure thing.
Because right now I'm the only one who knows.
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, so I think
that's the thought.
yeah, that is fair. So I think that this yeah, I think that this will be a straight up overcome roll when you do something under pressure roll.
I think fire makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
I imagine.
and I suppose I will clarify. Are you heading towards where Min Yang is, or are you going to try and find the others?
I don't think I know where the others are.
Fair, yeah.
So probably a group of soldiers is my best bet of like who I can actually be able to spot. So.
Yeah, that is fair.
It's 9.
Okay, so on a 9, there's a complication. So yeah, I think. No, and I think that this is going to be a fairly straightforward, fairly straightforward one. I think that you are able to evade this creature, and you do kind of attract its attention. It is coming for you. And you make your way back towards the compound where the rest of the soldiers and Min Yang are. But I think as you reach the edge of the compound, this figure just like slashes out at you with its long claws, and you feel them kind of pass through your. So it is more than just like passing through your skin. It feels like these like cold claws are sort of tearing into you, into what makes you, and you can mark your fire element. But yes, you are able to make it back to Min Yang, and yeah, Min Yang, you will see obviously. Mirror the cloud coming towards you, and the soldiers under your command, and the creature that is following him is just described as a sort of very vaguely humanoid form that seems to be formed out of shadow. Basically, it's just a sort of dark, formless shape, mostly, with long claws at the end of its limbs, and just like red glowing eyes peering out of the murk. What do you do?
I'm going to dismount and break out my 3-section staff and call 2 archers with and tell them to light their arrows and fire at the shadow.
Excellent. So I think with the assistance of the flaming arrows from the archers, I think that you can actually engage this creature with equal scale. because I think that the fire is something that hasn't been tried on it yet, and I think that might be effective. I'll explain again, because I think you missed this last time. But we're going to go into a duel here. The way the duels work is quite simply we'll kind of have a bit of discussion backwards and forwards between, description backwards and forwards between us of the fight as it unfolds. When we reach what seems to be like the critical moment of the duel, I will get you to roll. The duel roll is always rolled with your style stat, your style element. You'll roll that, and then we'll determine how that goes, and then we'll narrate the rest of the fight from that point onwards. The other thing I will obviously also add at this point is obviously Mirror of the Cloud. If you have a bond with Min Yang, you can spend that to give assistance and give them a +1 to their roll. You can also, if you wish, you can think of a way of doing so. You can make the comfort and support roll sort of during the course of the duel to make the roll. If you successfully get, if you can create a bond with them, you can immediately spend that to give them the +1 as well. As I say, I think we'll go back into sort of the narrative. So I think Min Yang, as you say, that you give the word to the archers, and a couple of these sort of like flaming arrows pierce through the shadowy creature, and it lets out an unearthly keening sound, and it seems to sort of shrink back from the fire. You can see kind of for a moment the shadowy stuff that forms it is kind of disrupted as the flames pass through it, but it kind of lets out an angry wail and sort of flows towards you, cutting towards you with its long shadowy claws.
Okay, so I roll for the duel.
You can do, or if you wish to just do a bit of sort of general description first, you can do so. Sort of saying up how this looks as you.
I'm in a weird situation because my style element is water, and not nearly as effective, I think, as fire would be. I have this staff which I can use like giant nunchucks, to try to beat at this thing with and block its claws. And my style is, to twist around and try to be where it's not looking. But I definitely want to protect Mirror of the Cloud, and so I'm going to rush forward to try to engage with this thing.
Yeah, and as you sort of swing at it with your 3-section staff, it is almost like fighting air. It sort of flows back and around your staff, but kind of the big sweeps you're making are still able to contain it, and the once living wood seems to be effective against it, especially, as I say, as the sort of flaming arrows are sort of piercing it through, and it's clearly distressed and forced back by these. If you would like to make me your roll.
I think Mira's going to want to assist.
Yeah, go for it.
How this goes. So, if I can have some rope and maybe light the rope on fire.
Ooh, nice.
Off of these arrows, and just kind of creating a circle to drive it, contain it on one side.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay, does that change my roll, or should I just roll?
That will give you a +1 to your roll, I believe. If there's in
addition to my style elements.
I don't have a bond to spend, so I have to make the.
So that'll be a comfort or support roll.
Yes.
As ever, you can choose whichever element you wish to roll that with.
Well, my style is wood, so I guess that's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's a 10.
That's a 10. Perfect. So,
So basically, I get a hold, but I immediately spend it to give you a +1.
yep.
Great.
And as well, Min Yang, you get to do one of the following. You can clear an element yourself. You can ask. Mirror of the Cloud a question they must answer. You can gain a point of influence, or you can gain a bond with Min Yang, with Mirror of the Cloud in return.
Okay. Well, it sounds like what Mirror of the Cloud was trying to do was give me the +1.
Oh,
So
no,
you're saying
sorry.
that's one of the options, or?
I read that the wrong way around. Sorry. You can choose to either gain. You can either choose to clear one of your checked elements, or you can gain a bond with Mirror of the Cloud.
I'll gain a bond.
Cool.
That's good. Let's see. Where? Oh, here we go. Bonds.
I guess either one of us could burn a bond to give you the +1.
Yes, that is
But
true.
yeah,
Actually,
okay.
Okay, so now that I have this bond, I burn it, right?
No,
That's the
well,
no, you don't need to if Mirror of the Cloud has just done
yeah,
that.
I burn.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Great. I'll roll. With the whopping +3. What is? Oh, I need to. Let's see here. Just gonna delete those and try again. Okay, that's 9 + 3 is 12.
Perfect. So, on a duel against a foe of your scale, on a 10+, you win the conflict, and you may mark XP if you show mercy or let them escape. You may also declare a shift in the fiction of some kind of change of heart. You can impress someone or shift an entanglement.
Let's see. Well, I don't want to show mercy because this is a thing of pure evil. So you're saying I can? See, I'm reading a bit. I can. Win the conflict. Okay, win the con. Okay, so those 3 options are just for 7 to 9.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I'm. Geez, a shift in the fiction. I'm going to say that that with Mirror of the Cloud's flaming rope, we're able to at least temporarily contain this creature. That while I'm beating it back, Mirror of the Cloud has arranged the rope so that the thing is maybe caught in a circle of flame for as long as the rope lasts.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Or maybe till it starts raining.
Yeah, right. Well, then I'd be in my element, so to speak.
Yeah. And this creature is like you said, it's clearly like shrinking back from the flames. It's letting out horrible screeching sounds. It certainly, whether it's capable of human speech or not, it certainly doesn't seem to be making any attempt to do so. It's, as I said, as it was sort of described last time when I was doing here, it's like there's both a sense of like anger to the way it's crying out, but also of sort of loss and distress to its cries.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, I'll give other people a chance to go, but I'm very curious about that.
Awesome. Cool. So we've just hit the hour, so I think we'll take a 5-minute break here, and then we will come back and see how things are getting up to in the forest. So I will see everyone back shortly.
Good.
So yeah, welcome back everyone. So we have Lei Ning and Zhang Long. You're heading for these the woods where you felt this power coming from, and I think as you're sort of following this sort of magical flow, this magical channel sort of thing that you can feel, you come to a clearing a little way into the forest. There's a small shrine here, or a medium shrine. It's not a very big building, but there's clearly some sort of space here for people to sleep and stay and stuff, as well as just the sort of the actual shrine itself. But it's not a large building by any stretch of the imagination. As you enter the clearing, you will see a young woman, probably of an age with Lei Ning, give or take. She is dressed in a monk's robes. She has a long string of beads around her neck. She's kind of counting off the beads as she's chanting. Her head's shaved, her eyes are closed, but there's you can see even sort of in the gloom of the forest clearing in the evening, you can see it looks like a bruise or a welt sort of covering one half of her face, as she chants a prayer in the still glade. What do you do?
Lei Ning's gonna kind of start to like reach out towards her, kind of in a trance, just like
Really
almost
quickly, could we rewind a few seconds?
Oh, yes,
and
certainly,
Take care of
certainly.
like prep moves and things like that.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Lei Ning, do you have any?
moves.
Yeah, like to help prep for a fight or a duel or anything?
My moves are mostly for like seducing people and like talking to them.
Okay. David, I'd like to roll Final Master.
Yeah, go for it.
And I think Earth makes sense. Caution, focus, presence.
Sure.
Okay, the dice changed twice that time. And it's a miss. Unless... What does burning a bond get us in terms of a bonus on a roll?
Gives you a +1.
Okay. I'll go ahead and burn my bond with Lei Ning to bring that up to a 7.
Yeah, sure thing.
And that gets me +1 hold. Yeah, +1 hold to basically do whatever.
Yeah, cool.
And as we're standing in the trees looking at this, I think my idea is task Lei Ning to go down and interact with this woman, because they're about of the same age. and she has social skills that I don't. And while she does that, I'll study the woman from above.
Certainly, certainly. What I will tell you, like immediately about her, as this is obviously you see what I've just described. This is clearly the source of the magic you felt. You know, this is where it's coming from. What I will give you though for sort of free is that what she's doing, this is not like a necromantic spell or anything like that. This isn't. You're not. You don't necessarily get the feeling that what she is doing is deliberate. Though there is definitely intention behind it. If there were not, there would be. You know, this would have no effect. If you wish to ask more, you can of course make a study roll.
So, to clarify, it sounds like she may not know what she may know that she's doing something, but not what.
Yes, that would be a fair assumption.
Okay.
Are we aware of it's her intention that it's, or is it somebody else's intention, or is that going to require a study roll?
That might require a study roll. Yep.
Do you want to do the study roll?
I was actually thinking about using one of my talking moves.
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go try to. I'm going to use Tracing Shadow when I spend time interacting with someone to read their web of connections roll. So I think I'm going to go try to talk with her and try to get a read on her.
Yeah, and I think so. Yeah, and I think that's probably where we'll cut back to the moment we just sort of saw, where you're just sort of reaching out to her, and I think there's that moment where she just starts and loses her place in the prayer she's reciting, and says, "Who are you? Where did you come from?"
I came from many places. I am from nowhere in particular. I've traveled all my life. Who are you? Where are you from?
My name is Placid Swan, and I am. I live here. This is my home.
These woods are your home?
Yes. Oh well. She kind of gestures around her. This shrine.
It's a lovely home. May I ask what you are doing this fine evening? There has been some chaos back in town, and we were led here, or rather, I was led here.
I have been in prayer and meditation.
What are you praying about?
And you kind of get just a look of anger spreads across her face for a moment before she kind of takes control of her expressions and sort of forces herself back into the sort of calm and collected appearance. And she says, I am looking for peace in the wake of something unpleasant.
Lei Ning is going to step closer and kind of like put a finger underneath her chin so that she looks directly into her eyes and says, "My dear, you have a fire deep within you. Do not beat around the bush, if you will. Say what you mean. What is so unpleasant?"
Cool. And I think I will have you make your tracing shadow move now to see how this goes. So yeah, as ever, you get to choose which element you roll with, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, let me roll my yellow ones. And I think I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use fire because I'm really playing off of that that anger within her. I think
Yeah, awesome.
that's a 10.
That's a 10, perfect. So, yeah, what you will learn. So yeah, normally you'd learn that entanglement. So I think what you will learn, and she this bit she will actually explain to you. She'll sort of say, and she will say, earlier this year, my master, Faithful Lotus, passed away. It was a sudden illness. The other day, a group of people came to the village. Strangers. I do not know who they were. They stayed here the night, stayed at the inn. We thought nothing of it. But that evening, that night, somebody saw them in the graveyard digging. And they left during the night. And when we came to investigate the graveyard the next day, the grave of my master had been disturbed and his skull had been taken by them. I have been praying since to soothe his soul in the hope that, and to bring retribution to those who defiled his body.
A very noble cause indeed.
And the other thing you will learn, because I believe you also learn a secret, is that you get the impression as well that her feelings for her master may have gone beyond what was appropriate, though you don't get the feeling that they actually were in any sort of relationship. You think that she may have had some deep affection for him.
Yeah, and I think at that, Lei Ning kind of smiles as she says, "A fire indeed. You have no idea where these other, those that defiled your master's grave went?"
I do not. They, as I say, they were in town for but a few hours. Though, from what I heard, they were dressed they were not flashily dressed. They were not garbed in fine silks. They were not garbed in fine colours or anything like that, but they were dressed and equipped well. They did not seem like random bandits. We would have been suspicious of them if they had been.
think at that, Lei Ning might like turn back in the direction of Zhang Long and try to make eye contact.
I gracefully leap from the tree, float through the air, and land silently, even though it's an impossible drop of like 40 feet.
And I think again the Placid Swan is kind of startled by this. You know, she had clearly not noticed you up until this point, and your sudden entrance into the clearing shocks her.
Be at peace. We mean you no harm.
Then why are you here?
Perhaps it's easier to show you. Will you come with us?
And why should I? What can you do for me?
I raise my hand and wave a finger. And suddenly the clearing is filled with spiders. But they're leaving a nice circle around us. You know, basically, so they're clearly controlled, and it's a perfect circle that gives us about 10 feet of space in any direction. And I say, I can do many things. I can help you find those who disturb the grave of your master. And I will happily help you avenge him. And I smile.
Awesome. I think I'm going to ask you to make a hearts and minds roll there. So as ever, you get to choose the element you'd like to roll with.
Let's see. I almost feel like this is a metal roll, but that's my style element, and we're not supposed to roll that for.
Oh no, you can absolutely use your style element for. The only thing you can't use your style element for is in a conflict, but you can use it for any other roles. That's fine.
Because this feels like control and calculation in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is 8 on the dice plus 2 makes it 10.
Perfect. So yeah, I think again she looks a little apprehensive maybe of the spiders, but she nods and gets to her feet and says, very well, if you truly wish to help me in this, then I will come with you.
Come. Let us go to the graveyard. There's something you should see.
Awesome. And yeah, I think I'd just like to quickly revisit Mirror of the Cloud and Min Yang back with their captive spirit to see what your intentions are next. Yeah, you clearly have this thing at your mercy now. It's unable to escape past the ring of fire that contains it, and as I say, it doesn't seem to be exhibiting any sign of intelligence, but it is. Yeah, as I say, it's sort of seething within its containment.
But you said it also seemed to be expressing loss and sadness.
Yeah, I mean, when I say no intelligence, I suppose it's more like it doesn't seem to be communicating particularly, but you just get this feeling more than anything else of loss and anger from it.
Let's see. Well, I would like to learn more about what is going on with it. Mirror of the Cloud, do you have any skills that might help with this? I mean, I guess I could study it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just having a quick look. I don't think any of the supernatural moves are specifically relevant here.
Seek expert, maybe.
Yeah.
It's the only one that
Where's seek expert?
When you ask an expert about a supernatural manifestation you've witnessed or seen evidence of, roll. They can give you answers.
We don't really have an expert, do we? Yeah.
I mean, there's me.
It doesn't. I mean, I think just studying it is.
Yeah, I think study is probably
works fine.
Okay, I'll do that. Let's see. It seems sort of cheating to do it with water all the time.
I mean, to be honest, it's often an obvious one for studying for a reason. Water is about being aware and content on things, so it's don't feel like it's cheating.
Okay, all right. Then select the. That's 4 + 2 is 6. Oof. Okay. Nope. I get buffets.
I could try to assist, I guess. I would have to.
I have a bond with you I could burn. Would that help?
Yeah, that would be fair, I think, in this situation, because you're both present. So if you'd like to do that, that would.
Okay. Makes it a 7.
Awesome. So on a 7 you get to hold 1. So you can either you can ask a question or declare a detail about it, or you can try and learn its scale, though you already have a fairly good gauge of that, so it's probably not relevant in this case.
So it says, okay, ask a question about a person's desires and intentions. So I want to know its desires or its motivation. Maybe there's some very similar.
Yeah, no, that is fair. So what you will get, and this will obviously be tying to sort of what we already know. Something has been taken from it, and it wants to get it back, but it doesn't seem to have a. And this is the thing you will sort of get from it. It doesn't really seem to have a. It doesn't seem to, as I say, it clearly has feelings and a sort of motivation, but it doesn't really have a. It doesn't seem to have much in the way of higher thought, as it were. It doesn't seem to know how to get back what it's lost, and it's kind of lashing out at the people closest to it. Certainly, at the biggest concentration of people closest to it. And that is what has been motivating essentially this both the anger at the loss and the desire to reclaim what's been taken, but in sort of this, like I said, disordered kind of way. It is just lashing out at anyone and anything within its reach.
Okay, Good to know. I think
And
this might be
sort of
building towards something.
what I will give you sort of on top of that is, again, from your sort of knowledge of like how these supernatural things work. You think you might be able to like temporarily exercise or destroy it, but to properly put it to, well, sorry, you might be able to like disrupt it or whatever, destroy it now.
Mm-hmm.
It will also probably, you reckon the chances are high that in the come like the sunrise, basically, it's likely to be rendered dormant again. But yeah, you reckon that either to get rid of it entirely, you will either need to like have a proper exorcism ritual for it, or reclaim what's been taken.
Okay, interesting. Mirror, you're thinking. I mean, it sounds like this ties in with the scene that we were not in, with Zhang Long and Lei Ning.
Yeah, maybe it's a good time to just say, go ahead. I think Mir at some point like just grabbed a soldier pair and told them where Liu is, and told them to go find her. Didn't want to just forget that detail, but yeah, I think it's probably time for her to say, like, maybe we should find out what Zhang Long and Lei Ning are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, and I think the soldiers will start building a bigger fire around the creature to contain it.
Okay, cool.
As also, yes, they recover as they recover Yu Yaling, and yeah. So I will also give you, as sort of she is brought back, kind of as I sort of mentioned previously, she is. It's only in a in the very loosest sense that she still seems alive. She has a very, very faint pulse, and she's breathing very, very slowly. Her skin is fairly cold to the touch, and to all intents and purposes, she seems to be in some sort of trance or other state of unconsciousness. Clearly not natural. But yeah, you will be able to. I think we'll just cut ahead. I think you will. You can approach you'll have sort of got to the graveyard as the others are returning from the forest. You can catch up with each other and see how things go.
I'm curious. What's Placid Swan's reaction when she sees the graveyard?
She seems shocked. This is not. This is strange and distressing to her. Oh yeah, the other thing I will say is at this point as well, the dead, the risen dead, they're still animated at this point. They're still active, but they're not really doing anything. They're just sort of stood around or very, very vaguely wandering backwards and forwards. The containment of the spirit seems to have kind of deactivated them, for want of a better word.
Placid Swan, how long have you been praying?
A few days now. Not constantly, but.
And today, how long were you praying?
Since sunset.
And I look at Min Yang. Say, when did we receive the notification that the dead had risen?
Was it about that time?
Yeah, it was kind of later in the evening, so that would it would certainly make sense that like that would more or less line up. That by the time they'd got to you, yeah, that's it would have been they would have likely left here around sunset.
I think my character needs to make an inner conflict roll to take part in this conversation.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, you for inner conflict again, you may roll with any of your elements except your style element, which you cannot use for this.
Let's see. It's gonna be something I'm not good at. Metal, or probably metal for control. Yeah, that's a failure. Why am I not surprised?
So
I think yeah. Instead of actually going with Min Yang to meet up with them, Mirror the Cloud slipped off again.
Sure thing. We will find out what's happened to them shortly, I think, and also you get to mark a point of XP for rolling in a conflict. But yeah, so yes, we'll return to the three of you and Placid Swan back at the gravesite, and yeah, Min Yang, I think you'll have just done that thing of like briefly losing track of Mirror of the Cloud and then realizing that they're no longer with you.
Cool.
I turn to Placid Swan and say,
and it was a full miss. So I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I have some thoughts in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I turn to Placid Swan after Min Yang confirms the timeline. I say, you may not have intended to do this, but this is your doing. You must help me to atone for this. My goal is to rid this kingdom of demonic forces and the people who wield them, so that things like this don't happen, so that bandits don't try to steal people's skulls to use in arcane rituals.
This spirit, by the way, is missing something and has lost something very precious. Does that sound familiar?
I did not intend for any of this to happen. I do not know. I do not know why it has done. I did not want this. I just wanted my master avenged and made whole again.
Placid Swan, whose beads are those, and where did they come from?
They are my master's. He gifted them to me before he passed.
And did he give you any instructions about them?
No.
I want to see if these beads are a magical artifact.
Yeah.
And I know there's a supernatural move. Use found magic. Does that kind of make sense? Or is this more like Uncover Bane?
So I think actually this is probably this. I'll just let you know. Yeah, I think that you can definitely feel that they have a spiritual presence to them. They have clearly from the feel of them, you would guess that that Faithful Lotus was a truly devout man, and some of his his sort of use of these beads over his career have kind of infused some of that. Basically, a small part of him still resides within them, and gives them a kind of a presence beyond their mere physical existence.
Min Yang, you mentioned a spirit.
Yes. Yes, this being of shadow with claws and eyes of flames is reaching out mindlessly, looking for something that is lost, attacking all who are nearby. It's become a malicious spirit, but it may not have started that way.
Let us go see this spirit. And I smile.
Yes, let us go see this spirit.
And along the
this way, yeah.
I'll be chatting with Lei Ning about, once again, this is evidence why these are forces you should not trifle with.
Of course, Master.
I'm looking at Lei Ning like, yeah, you say that, but
Is that an inner conflict role there?
I think that is an inner conflict.
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yes, because I'm not supposed to reveal Lei Ning's failings,
yeah.
but I'm protective of Zhang Long. Okay, let's see, that is, maybe, so it can't be my style element, right? So
That's right. It cannot be. It cannot be
metal?
water, but yeah, metal works.
Trying to maintain control. Let's see. Okay. Uh, 7 + 1 is 8.
Okay, so on a 7 to 9, you have a choice. You can either mark one of your elements, and that can be any one of your elements of your choice, or you have to leave this scene, but the choice is yours.
Oh, I'll mark an element.
Sure thing.
No problem. It can be any of them?
That is right. Yep, it can be any of them.
Okay, I'll mark Earth.
Sure thing. And
I'm just staring at Lei Ning with slit
I
eyes.
think actually I might also ask for Lei Ning to make that inner conflict roll as well, because your entanglements there are both quite similar. So I think there's that moment of like, yeah, as I said, shifty eyes between the two of you.
And I'm trying to walk in between them. It's not easy, you know. Zhang, do you need someone to lead you back, or can you see without eyes?
Men, have I ever needed someone to lead me anywhere?
No, of course not, Zhang. I'm just, well, very well, as you like.
And I smile and continue explaining to Lei Ning why this country, this kingdom, will have no use of men like me once my goal is accomplished.
All right, Lei, you're gonna roll?
Yeah, I rolled a 10.
Oh.
Perfect. And yet you both mark a point of XP for making the roll in the first place. But yeah, on the 10 plus, you Lei Ning, you get to act perfectly normally. You're keeping things cool. But yeah, I think we are going to have a brief cutaway though again to Mirror of the Cloud. So Mirror of the Cloud, when you kind of detached yourself from Min Yang, where did you go?
I think I went back up onto the rooftops, and maybe in a spot where I I was hoping to be able to just observe.
Yeah, and I think as you're sort of up on the rooftops, like scanning out over the town, kind of do that thing. You look one way, you look the other way, you look back, and there is a woman sat next to you, where clearly there was no one a moment before. She is tall, dressed in sort of warrior's garb, and she is incredibly beautiful. She has sort of an almost picture perfect face, and she says, Mirror of the Clouds, I had hoped to catch you alone.
You seem to have succeeded.
Yes, I am rather good at this sort of thing. And she smiles, and her smile goes back a lot further than it ought to, and she has a row of teeth like sharks in her mouth. And she says, my name is Boundless Sorrow, and I have a request for you. Something I think we will find mutually beneficial. I can rid you of that spirit that you have captured. And she will open a hand with exceptionally long fingernails on it, and there is a small jade box, and she says, capture. You merely need to present this box before the creature, open it, and you will seal it with inside. Then bring it back to me.
I mean, I've only just captured this spirit, and you think I should give it away so quickly?
Do you have any use for it?
Well, I mean, it hasn't proven to be terribly useful so far, but as I said, I've only just come into possession of it.
Well, easy come, easy go. If you, as I say, if you bring it to me, I will ensure that it is no longer a problem for you or the people of this village. I will take it far away.
Well, it does seem to be a very generous offer. I suppose I can consider it.
It is a very powerful spirit, and it could wreak untold destruction. And her smile will grow wider.
And I'll reach out to take the box. And I say, well, then this box must be, its power must be even greater. Does she actually let me take it?
Yes, she will. She will say yes, a gift of the celestial heavens, no less. A powerful artifact indeed.
how about this? I will give you my word I will return it, whether empty or full. I guess I can't at this point say.
And she'll kind of cock her head and say, I suppose that is acceptable, though you would please me far greater to bring me the spirit than not.
I think I'm going to say anything more. Feeling happy to have gotten out that cleanly.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I think the yeah, I think everyone can reconvene at the spirit, or if you wish to get there before them, Mirror of the Clouds, I think that you can probably do so, as you are a little further ahead, as it were. But otherwise we can just have you all gather back together again.
Is there any sense we could go ahead and take a break?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yep, we're coming up to the hour. So yeah, no, I'm happy to take the break now, and then so yeah, if you want to come back about 5 past, and we'll pick up from there. Yeah, cool. See you all in a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. So I was about to say something and then confused myself. I think was upcoming to the last hour now. So I think what I think my thoughts on this are, and feel free to disagree if you wish, but I think what I'd like to see sort of for the rest of the session is for us to sort of is winding up this situation with the spirit for now, seeing what happens with that, and then kind of maybe give you a chance to have a couple of scenes just like between the other between characters and stuff, as I know it's something people were asking about last time. So just give us a little bit of space to have a couple of those sort of conversation type scenes as you're heading back to the temple, if that works for everyone. With that said, we will come back into things where, as I say, I think people have regrouped back on the village again. I think I'd like to see what your plan is next.
Placid Swan, would you give me the beads for a moment?
She looks hesitant for a moment, but then carefully removes them from her around her neck, and she sort of passes them to you in both hands, holding them with sort of obviously some reverence as she passes them over to you.
I accept them in the same manner. And then, in an uncanny way, I walk immediately over to where this spirit is, obviously without being able to see it.
Yeah. And you can definitely feel the heat from the fires that have been built around it to try and keep it contained as you approach.
I raise the beads in one hand and study the spirit to see what it does. Do I need to roll?
No, not if you're just going for kind of getting a gauge of its reaction. Its eyes lock onto the beads, and they definitely seem to follow it, and you kind of get this sense of you can feel like this creature's like focus on you. It's not doing anything dramatic like trying to sort of push through the barriers to get at it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely these beads have definitely drawn its attention.
Okay, I actually would like to study it at this point.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And I'd like to roll with... I think Earth.
Yeah. Sure.
Focus.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
That's a 9.
Meanwhile, in the background, Mirror's asking, Min Yang, like, who's this woman? What's going on?
So flipping back over to basic moves.
Shrugging.
Yeah, so a 7 to 9 on the study will get you one question or one choice from the list of things.
Just because I'm pretty sure we're already going there, but I want to make it explicit, I'd like to reveal a detail.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that because of my sorceress background, I can definitively declare that this is the spirit of Placid Swan's master.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Faithful Lotus.
Yep, that's right. He's essentially you will get he's not exactly a hungry ghost, but it's definitely something of that nature. His spirit has been ripped out of the part of the afterlife it should have been in, or that it was currently in during his process to reincarnation, and has been unnaturally drawn back to this back to the world.
I've got a crazy idea here. With the beads, can we keep the spirit's wrath contained so that we can take it with us?
You think you might be able to, certainly. That would definitely be something you could do with the use found magic roll.
Okay, let's do that.
I'm surprised to hear that you are wanting to prolong your exposure to spirits.
Min Yang, in this case, I seek to return this spirit to rest.
Of
And
course.
this spirit being able to assist us in that goal aids us both.
But Master, why do we need to banish this one? It's not all bad.
Well, we're not talking about banishing it.
Then what are we doing?
Allowing it to assist us in finding the people who wronged it so we can return it to its rest. This is unnatural, Lei Ning. This is not part of the natural order. When one dies, one should be able to be at peace, not stripped from the earth, stripped from the beyond, and brought back through sorcerous means.
I suppose that makes sense.
Would you want to be brought back against your will? Be controlled by someone? Be made to do things that you would never have done in life?
No, I can't say that I would.
Then you understand.
But I'm also not the one who's a spirit.
I smile. Placid Swan, what do you think your master would want?
And she looks troubled for a moment and says, in truth, I think my master would merely wish things to be returned to how they had been before. I wish revenge against those who have wronged him, but he was a better man than I, and I think he would be satisfied if for his body to be once again laid to rest. And if you think you can do that, then that is probably for the best.
Would your master wish to continue hurting people who did not deserve it?
No, he would not.
I think this is the best way to ensure that doesn't happen, Placid Swan.
I think you're right, Master.
And Min Yang?
I, as ever, bow to your wisdom.
And is Mirror of the Cloud with us at this point?
I believe so, if they wish to be.
Yep.
And Mirror of the Cloud? Do you agree? Rolling with water. That was a 10 that turned to a 7, so +1 is an 8.
Cool. And you will also get your oh no, so that's dueling, isn't it? But yeah, so yeah, that's an 8 anyway. So yeah, so you can do what you wish. So yeah, the three. So yeah, sorry, I'm just getting used to this move myself. So firstly, you have to choose one of these options. You either it has to be recharged before you can use it again. You have to mark an element, and also whilst you bear this item, you can only use that element to use it again. or you the item disappears and is no longer in your possession.
So, looking at it, I think I'll mark water to be able to keep the beads, because I know they're going to be something that Placid Swan will want.
Certainly, yep.
And then, since it's a 7 to 9, there's an additional consequence.
There is,
and that is a significant cost. I'll take the significant cost.
Yep.
And I'm going to gain a permanent mark.
Cool.
And I will permanently mark fire.
Oh, sorry. I think in that permanent mark, I think there is just as in like a physical mark rather than marking one of the elements. Yeah.
Okay.
That was my reading of it anyway. I might check with all on that, but yeah, that was how I read that, because permanently marking one of your elements would be a very harsh cost.
So, let me know if this gets too close to graphic violence, because I think that's veiled.
Yeah, sure thing.
But I think in the process, I think I have to hold these beads in order to keep the spirit, to keep its wrath contained.
Yeah.
And that in the process, due to the proximity to the spirit, the beads catch fire and set my hand ablaze. And it just, it doesn't go anywhere but my hand, because that's the hand that's holding these beads. But my hand is on fire. It doesn't go out, and it hurts.
Awesome. Yeah, I like it.
I'm gonna leap to your defense and say, Zhang Long, let me wrap your hand.
Be at peace, men.
But your hand. Let me douse it with water.
What did the Buddha teach us? Life is suffering.
Okay.
This is a small cost to bring a noble man to rest.
Lei Ning's gonna put a hand on Min Yang's shoulder and says, "He knows of what he speaks," and looks very gravely at Zhang Long's burning hand.
That's okay. I'm so not okay with this. But
As a player or as a character?
As a character.
Okay.
As a player, I think
that's what I was saying. Like as a player, like does this get too close to like?
Thanks for checking. Yeah. No. Min Yang is so not okay with this.
And I think as well as the spirit is drawn into the prayer beads, where the soldiers have kind of got Liu Yaling sort of laid out on a stretcher. And I think we kind of see that moment where she passes from this sort of, like I said, this sort of unconscious torpor into a more natural sleep.
That's good.
Awesome. So I think, as I said, I think with that, the immediate threat of also the other thing that happens once the spirit is actually drawn into the bead and is sort of properly contained within them, the Walking Dead, who said had already kind of just gone to just sort of pacing and ambling around, will all just collapse inanimate to the floor again.
Good.
yeah, as I say, I think with that, the spirit is pacified for now. As I say, to sort of permanently send it on its way, you will need to locate the missing skull. Or as I say, have a kind of a sort of an exorcism ritual to sort of send it on its way. But
there's one last thing I'd like to do in this scene.
Yeah,
if I need to roll for it, that's fine.
No, yeah, but go ahead.
I think I can dangle part of the beads outside of the flame. Like the beads themselves aren't on fire, it's just my hand that's holding the beads.
Yeah.
And I summon some spiders to let them kind of put their little spider legs on it and then scurry off into the night in search of the people who have his skull, now that they have a sense of who he is and his essence and whatnot.
Awesome.
Do I need to roll for that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, that will be a roll using your Whispers of Silk, or Silk and Whispers, sorry.
Okay, and I'll roll with metal. Because this is all about keeping those spiders under control. That is a 10 on the dice, and it did not flip for once. So that's 12.
Perfect. Yeah. So, you are able to get that, and I will give you some information on what they will find in a moment. On a 10 plus, you're going to mark an element. Yep, cool. Yep.
So on a 10 plus, I'm assuming that they find them?
Yes. So they will, and I think this is probably information. This may come to you a little later on, but I'll give it to you now because you will discover this. But when the spiders return to you, they will. You will learn that there is that this. They trace this essence to an ornate gilt box being carried in the luggage of a tall aristocratic man heading on the road north towards Mount Fang, one of the mountains in the area. From the description, you may well recognize this, and we as the audience certainly do. This is Duke Frozen Lake has the skull.
Awesome.
But yeah, as I say, if I think we'll probably just have some quick scenes if we want between each other, either on the journey back to the temple or once we get back there. So I'm just going to ask if anyone has an idea for a scene they'd like to kick off with.
I would like to pull Lei Ning aside, away from where I think Zhang Long can't hear it, and just be like, "What are you up to?"
Me? I am up to nothing.
Your studies into dark forces are going to hurt people.
People am not controlling these dark forces. I'm merely studying them. I'm merely an observer.
For now. But I know you. You're going to try to harness these forces.
You do not know me. Nobody knows me. I think that I can handle it. Besides, she gives a very long glance at Zhang Long. I'm a very competent teacher, don't you think?
You could hurt the kingdom. Worse, you could hurt Zhang Long. You don't know what you're meddling with, and he could get hurt.
I may not know what I'm meddling with, but I intend to find out. No matter the cost.
I said I would keep your intentions secret, but that has a limit. If I think you're going to pose a danger to people, important people, then I will do what I have to.
I understand, and I will also do what I have to. I do not set out intending to hurt people. People have been hurt for long enough. I just want to understand these powers. Perhaps there is a way we can control them to stop them from hurting others. That is all I want.
All right, that's all. I'm going to move away. But
Nice, thank you. Cool. So yeah, Mirror of the Cloud. Was there a scene you'd like to? As I say, this can either be on the journey back or once we've all returned to the temple.
Maybe studying this box.
Sure thing.
Yeah, it's probably water. 11.
Perfect. So yeah, you get to hold 2 to either declare details about this or ask questions about it.
I have an idea that I'll declare about the box.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's not safe to now return it empty. In fact, if I return it empty, there's a decent chance my soul is going to end up in it. So, but if I return it with, essentially, I can trap something in it that will aid me against what is it? Boundless sorrow.
Yeah.
So that when she opens it to trap me, it'll actually. I need to trap something in there to be an ally in that fight in that moment.
Can you somehow get Boundless Sorrow into the box? That's probably too much to hope for.
Yeah, man, I guess it depends how that confrontation goes.
Yeah. Depends on the dice.
That's getting way too ahead of ourselves.
Right.
But yeah, no, that sounds cool. Yeah. You could definitely. Yeah, this is. Yeah, you can definitely trap something in here and some form of spirit or other entity in the box that.
And it may all it may end up doing is just allowing me to escape. When I need, we'll see. We don't know.
No, that's cool. I like it. I like it. Thank you.
I'd like a scene with Mirror of the Cloud.
Yeah, sure thing.
I think on the ride back, kind of encourage my horse to trot up alongside yours without kicking it or spurring it or anything like that. You can see beads of sweat on my forehead, like not from heat, but just from pain.
Is your hand on fire the whole time?
Yeah. And it's just, you don't see the skin melting or anything like that. It's just on fire.
I like the thought that this is just going to be a permanent fixture, you know, in court, just like gesturing with the hand that's on fire. Sorry, have your scene.
You see what we face. You see what happens when people trifle with these forces, even unintentionally.
Of course.
And yet our ruler thinks he can control these powers.
We are swim in these waters, or we are swept away. Those are our only choices.
But those are not our only choices. We can build dams. We can choose to live elsewhere. We can move away from these waters. We do not have to swim in them or be swept away. We can dry our clothes and move on.
No dam lasts forever.
And that is true. And water will always flow. Floods happen. That doesn't mean we should knowingly live where those floods occur. Will you help me?
We'll see.
I sigh. You of all people should know how dangerous these powers are. We can rid the kingdom of them.
And I think there's got to be a spider within reach that I can maybe hold at the end of a string of web and kind of move to the side and drop and say, well, where would that leave you?
I look forward to a new world that has no need for or place for men like me. My dream is a world where we are not needed and where we fade away. Let earth belong to earth. Let the heavens belong to heavens. Let the demons consort amongst themselves. And let none of these things meet until their appointed hour.
I fear for the fate of a kingdom where no one knows how to swim.
And I fear for the fate of a kingdom. People splash about in the water without seeing the flood coming.
I guess we better keep our eyes open then.
I wish people had. Consider what I have said. The decision must be made soon, Mirror of the Cloud. You know things like this cannot proceed forever. I'll just trot on ahead. Kind of feel like that scene, don't you?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and so Lei Ning, is there a final scene you would like before we wrap up for the evening?
Not with anyone in particular, just like I think that at one point Lei Ning maybe I think she stops and like goes and looks like in the direction of Mount Fang and maybe hears like a voice on the wind. Can't really tell what it's saying, but it's there.
Nice, I love it. Thank you. And yeah, with that, I think that's where we'll leave things for this evening. So thank you very much, everyone. As before, if you wish to mark, if you think you've hit on your entanglements, mark XP appropriately. 2 XP for your highlighted one, 1 XP for the one that isn't highlighted. As I say, I think I trust you all to mark those. I think most of you hit at least one of yours this evening, if not both. So yeah, feel free to mark those. And yeah, we'll stop our recording now. But yeah, thank you very much all. It was that was a lot of fun.